Okay, so hi everyone, welcome you all in our course data analysis using RProgramming, and today we are on the session number 10, and here we are going to discuss about data frame. So data frame is basically a data structure which is just used to store some values. Okay, so what we have covered in our previous sessions, let me give a little recap so that everyone will be on the same page. Okay, so in our previous sessions we have discussed about in initial of the data structure we were just covering about one dimensional data structure. Over there we were covering vector, and after that we go for the two dimensional data structure. Over there we have seen that the similar data point is being kind of just having a two dimensional nature, and also you saw string handling part. Okay, now in today's class I'll discuss you about a data frame. This is also a very nice data structure. Okay, but before that let me give a little bit story. Okay, and based on that story we will conceptualize the concept of data frame. Okay, so like for example, in general, when you are just doing survey, okay, so at that time doing survey, or maybe you are doing any research and you are just collecting the data over there. Okay, so you are having data like for example serial number. Okay, you are having serial number, sometimes you are having name, right, you are having age, you are having gender, you are having let's suppose enrollment number, enrollment number, and sometimes you are having marks. Okay, and sometime you are having maybe marital status. Okay, marital status. Yeah, so let's suppose you are having such kind of data values, right, such type of variables in which you are capturing the data, right. So let's suppose if you go for a one person and just ask this their name. Okay, so firstly you will assign the value like serial number 1, and you will put the name like, so let's suppose the person's name is xyz, and their age is, let's suppose, 25 years, right, and gender maybe it's male. Okay, maybe we can write it in the full form, or maybe we can abbreviate it, or maybe the enrollment number may be 1001xa1. Okay, and marks will be, let's suppose, 457 marks this person is getting, and the marital status is maybe yes or no. Okay, it might be yes or it might be no, right. So such kind of data you are capturing, right. So over here, so let's check one by one what the data structure is fitting well over here, right. So firstly we talk about the data structure which is called as vector, right. So in the vector part, what you have seen, you saw that in the vector it's basically a one dimensional data structure. Okay, it's a one dimensional data structure, right, and it is storing the single data type values. Firstly it's a one dimensional. Okay, secondly it's a one data type. Okay, one data type values. But in this real situation, what the situation you are having over here, right. So here you are seeing that this data is having, firstly this is in a single row. Okay, so this might be treated as a one dimensional data. Okay, but it should not be. Why? Because in a one dimensional you are having like this is the numerical value, this is the categorical, or maybe this is a string type of values, this is a numerical values, this is again a string or categorical type of values. Here this is a simple context values. Okay, here you are having some numerical values, and here you are having some logical values, right. So in a same data you are having multiple types of data, right. So this data structure is being failed, not able to handle this situation. Okay, because this is, firstly this data is nothing but a two dimensional data, but this is handling only one dimensional data, right. So this data structure is being failed into this situation. Okay, let's see what the other data structure can be fit over here. So second data structure we saw about matrix, right. So in the matrix data structure, as you know, this is of two dimensional data structure, right. This is of two dimensional data structure. So first requirement is fulfilled by this particular data structure, right. So since this is a two dimensional, okay, in that way you are storing the values into this, right. So this is two dimensional data structure, and just to store this particular data you are also requiring two dimensional data structure, right. So this requirement is being fulfilled by this particular data structure, right. But But the thing is that in the matrix, if you remember, I told that this is also a unit data type. Okay, data type values, right? So here what is happening basically, matrix is also only containing only numerical values or maybe categorical values. It does not include the both type of values, right? But here what the situation is, in this situation we are having multiple types of values, right? So again, this is also not a good fit just to store that particular data values, right? Now, so if those two are being filled, okay, so the third is basically array. Okay, so I'll tell you about that part maybe in the later of the sessions. Okay, so array is basically a multi-dimensional. Okay, array is basically a multi-dimensional but unidata type. Okay, this is also only storing the values of the similar type. Okay, so this is also not a good fit for this kind of data to store, right? So we should to develop a new method. Okay, based on that we will store these type of values, right? So we developed a new method, which method is called as data frame, right? So data frame is basically a method which will handle such kind of situation. Okay, so okay, perfect. So now let me move ahead with the programming part and show you what the situation can be. Okay, maybe I can show you here as well quickly. So like for example this data. Okay, so here you are having so many types of data values. Okay, so what you can do, I will invent a new method which called as data frame, right? So what is the property of data frame now? So data frame firstly just storing the values of two-dimensional, or you can say tabular way, right? And this can store multiple data type of values. This is the most flexible part of this particular data structure. Okay, multiple data type. So in this situation, right, because this is the very real situation, this is the very real world situation, because in the real world when we are start collecting the data, we are having some data of maybe numerical type, some of the data will be of categorical type, some of the data will be of complex or maybe logical type. Okay, so there are multiple types of data values are there, right? So this type of data structure is very close to the real world situation, right? So this data structure is very close to the real world situation. That is why this data structure is very famous in data handling activities. Okay, very close to the real world situation. Okay, why this is very close to the real world situation? Because as I'm telling, in the real world situation data will be of multiple types. Okay, maybe it's numeric, maybe it's categorical, maybe string, maybe logical, maybe complex, any kind of values it can be. Okay, also it is of two-dimensional because you are just capturing the data of a multiple peoples, and these data will be stored in a tabular way, right? So how it look like now? Now the another question come up, how it will be look like in general. Okay, so since this is a two-dimensional data structure, okay, so firstly it will be created in this way. Okay, firstly it will be created in this way. So this is the one dimensional and this is the another dimension. Okay, this is the 1D and 2 second D, that is why this is two dimensional, right? And it is storing the values in the tabular format. Okay, tabular format means what? There will be rows and there will be columns. Okay, so like for example these are the rows, so these are the columns. Okay, so in a same data structure you are having rows and columns, right? So here you will store the variable 1. Okay, here you will store variable 2, here you will store variable 3, and so on. Here you will store variable n. This might be numerical value. Okay, this might be numerical value, this might be categorical value, this might be logical value. Okay, and this might be complex value. It means that a single data structure can handle the multiple data types of values in the tabular format. Okay, so this is the way how we will handle our data which is coming from the real world situation. Okay, so on the concept level everything is clear to you everyone? please maybe hit the like button so that I can understand, reaction button so that I can understand whether you are understanding this concept very clearly or not, so that I can move ahead for the programming activities part. Okay, perfect. So let me share my screen and start the programming, that how we will create the data frame. Okay, so please confirm once my screen is visible to you. Okay, I hope my screen is visible to you. So let me start.
Yes, please.
Yeah, perfect. So firstly, doing the programming activities, I'll do the same thing. I'll just remove whatever the object is available. Okay, so that my memory will be cleaned, right? In that way I will do. And after that I'll write one command which will just remove the code which is available into the console part. And yeah, 014, and now it is also been cleaned. Now I have very good memory space. Okay, perfect. So the first part is that how to create a data frame in R. Okay, so frame can be created, okay, in multiple ways. Okay, so the first way is that using the data frame. Okay, using the data dot frame, right? So data dot frame, basically it's a function, and based on that you can create the data frame. Okay, perfect. So let me write the command that how you can create the data frame. So what are the important argument need to be passed over here, right? So like for example, firstly you will create a data set name, okay, variable name, or you can say the object name. And after that you need to write the command called data dot frame. Okay, so in data dot frame you need to create the variables. Okay, you need to create the variables. Let's suppose I will create the srn, okay, serial number. And serial number will be stored the values like in the form of vector. Okay, so like for example 101, 102, 103, okay, and 104. Now first variable is being created. Now the second variable may be name. Okay, name can be in a string format. So if you wanted to write the string, then you need to create a vector of string, and string can be created into the double quote. Okay, so maybe I will store the name like xyz, okay, abc, and maybe PQRS, and maybe ERT, okay, maybe some other name, right? So this is the second variable I had created. Maybe third variable I will create like class. Okay, class I will create, let's suppose 1 2 3 1. Okay, similarly maybe marks. Okay, I'll create a marks over here. So in the marks, let's suppose person 1 is receiving 234 marks, second one is receiving 245 marks, maybe this person is receiving 250 marks, and this person is receiving 260 marks, right? Fourth variable I will create, let's suppose grade. Okay, grade, and I'll give him the grade A, since grade is also a categorical variable, so it will also be write into the double quote A B. Okay, A, and these are the hypothetical values. Okay, yeah, so in this way you will create the data frame, right? So if I will give a run over here, so you can see a object is being created into the environment window. Okay, so in this you can see, you can click over here, then you can see your data will look like as a excel data sheet. Okay, over here everything is looks like in a very very conscious combined way. Okay, and you are storing the values which is almost look like the Microsoft Excel. Okay, this type of data is called as tabular data. Okay, and one row is representing the one record, and one column is representing the one variable, right? So for example, one record means this is the record of a person 1, and for this particular person the serial number is 101, and their name is xyz, and their class is first, and total marks is 234, and their grade is A. Okay, so this is the record of a particular person. Second row is representing the second person's detail. Third row is representing the third person detail. Okay, and one column is representing the one type of data. So like for example name, so name is representing the single data values. So like for example these are the string values. Similarly class is nothing but a numerical values. Okay, so here we are storing the values like 1 1 2 3. These are the numerical values. Marks is also numerical values, and grade is nothing but a categorical values. So you are seeing that this is very real situation. This type of data actually you are having when you are doing a data analysis activities. That means that data frame is basically a very useful data structure for you, just to deal with the real world situation, rather than the vector, rather than the matrix, rather than the array. Okay, so this data structure is a very good data structure for handling the real world situation. Okay, perfect. So how you created, you got that concept. What you will create, you will create using the data frame. Okay, data frame is being created using the data.frame function, and in this particular function you need to create the variables, and variables would be created using the vector. So like for example I had created over here srn is equal to, and I just passed the vector over here. Similarly I just create a variable name, and we are storing the values as these name values. Similarly I create a third variable, fourth variable, fifth variable, and you need to remember that each variable will be created, and after that you need to place a comma, then new variable will be created, new variable will be finished, then comma, then third variable will be created. In that way this type of variable will be created, right? So this is the way how you can create the data structure, right? Now the second way is that instead of creating the direct vector over here, okay, so you can do what, maybe I can create a vector like maybe sub1. Yeah, anyone have any question? Okay, perfect.
Yeah, so after creating the data structure, like the variables and its corresponding um, elements, the class, the marks, and the grades, how did you get the table in the environment?
Okay, so because if you are running it over here, right, so this is being created automatically. This is called as R object, and in the environment R object is being created automatically, right? So here that is created, and that is just telling you that in this particular data frame we are having four observation and five variables. So what is basically it is telling, so if I will click over here, right, so if I will click over here into this particular row, then this row will
Oh,
automatically
okay.
open this particular data, and you can see here we are having four observations. Four observation means the record of four peoples, and the record of five variables. So you can see here first variable, second variable, third, fourth, and fifth variable, right? So this is the basically meaning what is stored into the environment window. Okay, clear?
All right. Thank you very much.
Okay, perfect. Now let me create the vector data frame in some other ways. Okay, that might be very helpful for you. Okay, just to deal with some other real situations. Okay, so let's suppose I just took the test. Okay, and in this particular test, maybe I just put the name of this particular test is, let's suppose R programming. Okay, maybe I just conducted a test and R pro, and in this test maybe some of the people will receive maybe 90 marks. Okay, some of the people will receive 87 marks, some of the people will receive 86 marks, and some of the people will receive 85 marks, and some of the people will receive 89 marks, and maybe someone also receive the 96 marks, 95 marks, right? And similarly maybe I just took the test of English. Okay, English, and in this maybe some of the people will receive maybe 78 marks, 77 marks, 79 marks, 80 marks, and 91 marks, and 93 marks. Okay, similarly I will create the marks in physics. Okay, maybe I will create a physics, and into this we some of the people will receive, let's suppose 89, 90, 91, maybe 89, 87, and this one and this one, maybe 56, and maybe um, physical examination. Okay, physical examination, physical examination, and in this you are basically receiving the grade. Okay, so maybe you some of the people receive A, some receive B, some receive C. Okay, some receive A, not in this way, A, D. Okay, let's say this is the data and E is also there, and yeah, maybe these three are there. Okay, so how you can create a data frame with these type of data values. Okay, so in general, when you are just doing the survey, you are collecting data in this way. Okay, now if you wanted to bind those data just for data frame, okay, so how you can do it? So I will again create a data frame. Okay, I just name it maybe dat, or maybe let's suppose maybe new data, new dat, and in this I will write the command data dot frame, right? So I'll write data dot frame, and simply I will pass the variable name over here, rpro. Okay, rpro English and physics and um, physical examination, and I will run it, and you can see a new data structure is new data frame is created into the environment. And if you click over here, then you will see that this data will look like in the tabular form. Okay, in R programming, people are receiving these marks, in English people are receiving in this marks, physical examination people are receiving these marks, and physical examination grades are receiving in this way. Okay, so this is also a new way you can create the data structure. So in this data frame creation, you are just passing the variable, okay, and its data into the same data frame function. But here you are creating the vector outside of the out of the data frame function, and after that you are creating just passing all those variables name over here into the data frame function, and based on that your automatically a variable will, data frame will be created. Okay, perfect. So up to this point, anyone have any doubt, any question? Up to this point, everything is clear? Please thumbs up so that I can understand you are understanding this very well. Yeah, Ibrahim, go ahead.
So, Abel, you see, with the first, with the line 9, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, I can hear you, Ibrahim, but your voice is little bit fluctuating.
Okay, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, yeah, I can hear you.
With the first line, when you said that, then you directed it to the input data frame, then you input the whole command. That was the same. You see, instead of using a back arrow, you used an equal to, and then you combined the values. So in the line 16, in case I want to create a data frame, but I want to create the vectors first before I apply the command to create a data frame from the vectors. Can I use an equal to sign instead of the back arrow?
Okay, so basically these are the way, right? So like for example, the meaning of arrow over here. So as I told, if you are applying arrow within the function, okay, so if you are applying arrow over here, so okay, this will change its meaning, right? So arrow should be only applied when you are creating a object. Okay, like for example, this is the object. Okay, and for creating this particular object you should to apply this arrow, but here you are not creating the object, right? So here what you are creating, you are creating just a variable inside the object. That is why you just apply a equal to sign over here. Similarly, this is the way, this is the one way that how you can create the data frame. And data dot frame is basically a function, inbuilt function, we are not developing it. Okay, now the second thing is that sometimes it may be happen that you are not have a data right away. Okay, you are not having a data right away, but you are having these variables. Okay, you are having these variables with you. Okay, like for example, in the R programming test happened, and the class teacher of R programming, okay, they will collect the marks and they will provide you the vector. And maybe the English class teacher will also provide you the test examination, and they will provide you the result in the form of vector. So you are having multiple vectors with you. Now what you can do, you can come just for doing the analysis activities, you will combine all those things into the data frame, because this cannot be combined into the matrix part. Okay, this always be combined into the data frame, data dot frame part. Why? Because data frame is a multiple data type of values it can be deal. That is why we are creating only a data dot frame over here, right? That is why these are the basically two methods. Based on that you will deal with different situations. Okay, when you are having a data in a one go, you can create a data frame in this way, first way. But if you are dealing with multiple peoples just for getting this particular data, you should to apply this method just to create the vector formats. Okay, clear?
Okay. Yeah, so you don't use an arrow sign
Yeah.
How do I call it?
Yes,
Within
when you are
okay.
the rule of this question is for everyone. So if you wanted to create an object, right? So object means what the things you wanted to create it. Okay, so which will come over here, right? So like for your dat is coming over here. R Pro is coming over here, right? So these things are coming directly into the environment. So whatever the things which is being created into the environment, these things should be created using the arrow symbol. But those things which is not being created into the environment, so like for example this srn, this name, this class, marks and grade, nothing is being kind of a coming over here, right? So all those things will be created using the equal to sign, right? So this is the way how you should to deal with. Okay, so yeah, maybe Niri.
Another question.
Yeah, yeah.
Doesn't matter when you're creating an object, it doesn't matter whether you use the forward arrow or the backwards arrow. And would it give you the same result?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, maybe Niri, you have any question?
Sorry, no, I don't.
Okay,
Thank you.
perfect. Your hand was raised, that's why I thought. Okay, perfect. So now you are able to create the data frame. Okay, now, so what are the other operation we can perform into the data frame? Because this is a very real world situation. This data set, data frame, data structure is handling. So it should be very exciting for you. Okay, so now the another thing is that how you will update this particular data frame. Okay, the another question is how you will update. So update can be done into multiple ways. Okay, so like for example adding a row, adding a row. Okay, adding a row can be. Okay, similarly, and maybe second operation can be adding a column, adding a column. Okay, third thing is that changing some of the internal values. Okay, this might be. So and maybe some other ways of changing the thing is can be also possible. Okay, so now I'll just take a take the first part, that how you will add a row over there. Okay, so like for example, so here you are having like for example uh, in the dat. Okay, so you are having this particular thing. Okay, so this is there. This is the data. Now maybe the fifth person come up to you. Okay, and now you need to add some data for this particular person. Okay, so how you can do it? So firstly I will do in a multiple ways. One way is just to do a interactive way. Okay, so in a interactive way, how you can do it? Interactive way, so you will create a new dataset name over here, dat one. Okay, and just write a edit command over here and write the dataset name in which you wanted to add a new values, right? So you will write edit and run it. Okay, so what you are seeing here, automatically a window is being popping up in front of you. Okay, just click over here. Our a tabular sheet will be open in front of you. Okay, so what you can do, you can increase the data values like 1.5, maybe a b d, and maybe this is in third class, maybe this it is receiving 289 marks and their grade is maybe a grade. Okay, similarly if you wanted to add any person, other person's detail, 106. Oh sorry, I guess my screen is not visible to anyone. Okay, let me present it again, what I'm telling basically. Okay, so let me delete this way. Okay, so I'll write the command dat one. Let me create another data structure. Okay, data object. Okay, and in this what I will store the edited version of this particular data. Okay, so I'll write the command in this way, and you can see automatically a new window will be open in front of me. Okay, so I can edit this particular data, like for example 105. Maybe I can enter like abc abd, and I'll store the value 3 and store the value 290 and store the grade A. Similarly, if we have like 106 and we are having like a x y S, and we are person is in grade 301, and this is grade A. Okay, maybe you wanted to strip this particular data over here, right? So what is basically doing here, let me save it and cancel it. Okay, if I will cancel it, now a new data set will be created, that one. Okay, and this that one will have added up two rows. Okay, so you can see over here the two rows what I had added into the interactive mode, this can be visible to you over here. Okay, so in that way you can just add a new row into this particular data structure. This is the most simplest way how you can add a data values over here into the data frame. Okay, just for adding a new values. Okay, let me tell you how you can add a new column. Okay, so new column can also be added into the similar way. Okay, so like for example, just to add another data, or maybe you can do just call this data and make it into the edit format, and again go back and store into the same data file. Okay, just to update that one. Okay, I will run it. Okay, let me run it, and vector is being opening over here. Okay, this data is opening over here. So firstly I will click over here into this part, variable 6. Okay, so I will click over here, then it will ask me just to put the variable name. Okay, maybe I will put the variable name like fee. Okay, or maybe small cap fee. Okay, and this variable I wanted to be hold the values in the numeric format, so I will click over here numeric format and click it. Okay, hit a enter over here. So once you will hit enter, then you can start filling the values over here, right? So let's suppose 3400, and maybe 65 6400, 65 4500, maybe 3200, and maybe someone is on 1200, or maybe 5600, and maybe someone is from 7800. Okay, so maybe this type of fee you are paying for this particular students, right? So let me save this. Okay, so okay, so now this data will be automatically updated. Okay, I can see over here, I will click that one, and you can see this data is automatically added into this particular data frame. Okay, that one is created, and into this fee variable is added. So you saw those two things over here, that how you can add the rows and how you can add the column. Okay, now let me tell you some other ways that how you can add the data into the file. Okay, so like for example, before moving to the updation part, let me tell you about the extraction part. Okay, so that this will be very close concept, and you will automatically learn that how you can add the variables. Okay, so like for example that one. Okay, I will put a dollar symbol just after that, right? So I'll put just a dollar symbol over here, that one, and dollar symbol, and you can see into the drop down menu automatically what are the variables available into this particular data. Okay, into this particular data set, all are visible to me, like SRN, name, class, marks, grade, and fee. All those variables are automatically pop up here over here, right? So if you wanted to extract any of the column over here, right? So how you can do? Let's suppose I will just wanted to extract the SRN over here. I will put SRN over here, right? And I will run it. Then you can see SRN variable is automatically created. New vector is created. Okay, which is having the values which is coming from this particular row, this particular column. Okay, similarly, if you wanted to extract the second column values, okay, so you need to apply that one, and a dollar symbol, and maybe name. Okay, so in that way if you run it, then you can see all the names will be coming up over here, right? So in that way you can extract the values. Okay, in that way you can extract the values, or you can say extract the column. Okay, now if you wanted to add a new column over here, so what you can do, like for example applying a dollar, so it is asking you that what the variable you wanted to use. But right now I don't want to use any variable, I wanted to create a new variable. Okay, so how I will do it, maybe I will create a new variable, let's suppose new var. Okay, I'll just put a name like that one, dollar new var. Okay, so new var, since it's a new, that is why this is not pop up over here. So I will create in this way. Okay, I will create a vector. So let's suppose I will hold the values like 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 and 1. Okay, the only thing you need to remember is that the length should be same. Okay, length should be same. So like for example, this is of length 6, so everything will be of length 6. Okay, otherwise it will start throwing you the error. Okay, now I will run it, and you can see that one previously it was 6 observation 6 variable, but right now that one is getting updated and it is telling you that in this particular data set we are having 6 observation of the 7 variables. Let me click over here and we'll see whether a new variable is being created into this or not. Okay, and you can see over here a new variable is created which is called as new var, and new var is basically having the values like 1 1 1 1 1 1, what the values we have passed it over here. Right, now if you wanted to use this particular data, okay, so I will use that one and dollar. So you can see now a new variable is pop up over here as well. Okay, new var with the name called as new var, right? So if you wanted to see what the values are, you can click over here. You can see this is coming up 111. Okay, so in that way you can also create a new variables, or you wanted to extract the variable or extract the data values from this particular data frame, you can use the dollar symbol and you need to pass a variable name over here. Okay, now let me tell you some other ways how you can extract the data. Okay, so like for example in the previous method, okay, as you saw, since this is also a two-dimensional data structure, so there will be two dimensions. One is the ith, one is the row, and one is representing the column, right? So for example here 1 comma 1, so this is basically meant that first in a first row and a first column values. Okay, the first column and first row values will be treated as a 1 comma 1. Similarly, if you wanted to start the second column, so one first row and second column, in that way you will extract the value. So let me start the first value over here, that 1 comma 1, right? So you can see it is showing you 101. Let me open this data frame. See here, this is the first row and this is the first column, right? So here 101 is there, and you can see over here if I apply that 1 comma 1, it is showing me the value 101. Okay, so in that way you will extract the values. Now let's suppose if you wanted to extract the any of the column. Okay, if you wanted to extract the any of the column, then what you need to do, no need to write anything into the column side, row side, you need to write the column side. Like for example that one. Okay, so if I write in this way like a dat and space comma 1, it is telling you that I need all the rows but from first column. Okay, let me run it, and you can see the first column is automatically been extracted, right? Similarly, if you wanted to extract the multiple values, okay, like for example the first column and the second column, okay, so you will pass the index vector of the column over here, like it is telling you that I need all the rows. That is why I didn't apply anything over here, just in bracket it is this space and this comma, and in the column part you are having the column number 1 and column number 2. Okay, I will run it, and you can see the first column and the second column is coming, other column is not coming over here. Similarly, if you wanted to add third column as well, right, so just rerun it, and you can see the first, second and third column is coming, rest of the column is not coming, right? So this is the way how you can deal this situation using the positive indexing, right? So there is some other ways also. So like for example, suppose I don't want to see the first values, okay, the first column values, so I will use the negative indexing, right? So negative indexing is basically telling you about that what is not required. Okay, you wanted to drop that particular variable. So let's suppose I wanted to drop the first variable, then I'll apply over here that one, and inside the bracket I'll just pass the comma and -1. It means that I wanted to delete the first variable from this particular data. Let me run it. Okay, you can see over here when I just ran it, and it is giving me except the id you are getting everything, right? Now if you wanted to delete the first and second, okay, if you wanted to delete the first and second, okay, so you need to pass negative indexing 1 comma 2, then you will see that in this particular data the only first and second variable will be deleted, and rest of the variable will come to you. Okay, so in that way you can extract the values from this particular data frame. Okay, it is clear? Any doubt, any question come up into your mind? Anyone? Please thumbs up so that I can understand if you are understanding this correctly. Perfect, got it. Yeah. Okay, so now another question, like how you will update the individual values. Okay, so like for example that one is coming in this way, and you maybe missed the values over here, like a this particular person is receiving some other marks. Okay, so let's suppose this is not 250, maybe this person is receiving 350 marks. Okay, this is wrongly being come up over here, right? So this data is on the place number which row number 3, and column, which column it is, 1 2 3 and fourth column. It means that place value is 3 comma 4 is having some different value. Okay, let me write it over here. So how I will do it, maybe that one, and in this that one the third row and the fourth column will have the values called. Firstly let's check whether 250 is coming or not. Yeah, 250 is coming. It means that I should to update that 250 and store a new value on this particular place. Okay, so I will store the values like 350 and I will run it. Okay, now let me check whether this is being updated into this particular data frame or not. See here, this value is automatically being replaced. 250 is now changed as a 350. Okay, so in that way you will able to made some changes into the data frame level. Okay, so this is much more details about data frame. Okay, so there is a few more details are also there, but some of the details is left for you to just explore, okay, by your own. Okay, but for sure this data structure is very close to the real world situation. So you should to understand each and every concept which related to the data frame. Okay, because this is very important just to deal with the real world situation. Okay, now let me tell you some functions how you can apply those functions into this particular data frame. Okay, so like for example, if I wanted to see, for example, let me create a situation for you. So like for example here it is coming like in this way. Okay, so grade. Okay, so grade is coming like A B C and A again. Let's suppose I wanted to arrange those things using the some specific order. Maybe grade A is coming first, then B is coming, then C is coming. Okay, or you can say I wanted to do the sorting based on the grade variable. Okay, so what is the function we will use, which is called as arrange. Okay, or maybe uh, right, sort, or maybe perfect. So let me tell you about a very simplest command. Okay, sorry, sort, and let's suppose I wanted to see the first, like that one, dollar grade. Okay, and I wanted to see these things by decreasing is equal to false. Okay, so you can see firstly all A is coming. Okay, then B is coming, then C is coming. Okay, so in that way you can sort each and every variable. Okay, so like for example, suppose you wanted to see the values like that one, dollar, maybe marks, and you wanted to see those things into decreasing order. Okay, then in this way, like the highest marks will come first, the second highest marks will come second, and the third highest mark will come third. Okay, so in that way you will see all those data values is coming. Yeah, Anusha, go ahead.
Okay, so why is it necessary to add whether true or false to
Yeah, this is
the
important because sorting can be done in a multiple ways. Okay, you maybe want decreasing values, like for example the bigger value first, then smaller values. Sometimes you want increasing values, like the smaller value first, then the larger values. Okay, so for that reason you are applying decreasing is equal to true and decreasing is equal to false. So if you wanted to apply decreasing is equal to false, so it means that the higher value will come first. Okay, decreasing is equal to false means the A will come first, B will come, then C will come. And if you are having decreasing is equal to true, it means that firstly will higher value will come, and after that the lower value will come. Okay, so let me apply over here this true, and you can see this is being changed. So what is happening over here, the last value will come first, and the first value will become last value, right? So in that way decreasing is equal to true and decreasing is equal to false is happening, which is called as ascending order and descending order, right? So if you are applying this decreasing is equal to true, it means that you wanted to write the series into the descending ways. But if you wanted to apply like a tree, this decreasing is equal to false, this is increasing way. Okay, so for that reason you are applying the decreasing
Okay,
command.
so
Okay,
in other words, decreasing is equal to true means increasing,
yes, yeah.
and then decreasing is equal to false.
No, no,
Okay,
decreasing is
yes.
equal to true means decreasing. Okay, decreasing.
Yes, 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 yes,
And
yes, yes,
decreasing equal
yes.
to
So
false means
decreasing is equal
increasing.
to false means increasing.
Okay.
Yeah. But what if you just make it, so for instance, the second one,
Mm-hmm.
sort that's one, max increasing is equal to true.
Mm-hmm.
What about that?
Which one? Sorry, this one. So I will do like for example
The
f.
second
Okay,
one.
so if I will write here decreasing is equal to f, it means that you want increasing order. So firstly a will
Yes.
come, then b will come, then c will come. This is increasing order, right? Because we are moving from smaller value is a, then b, then c, then d, and the maximum value is z. But here in the decreasing equal to false. Okay, if I write it over here, so the bigger value is 350, then second bigger value is 301, and this is the smallest value. Okay, so in alphabet a is the smaller and z is the maximum, and into the numerical values, the lower values, the lower magnitude values is the lower value. Okay, and this is the maximum magnitude value, right? So in that way you can see it.
Okay, so instead of decreasing is equal to false, why don't we just say increasing and that is all to
So
kind
this
of
is
to show.
increasing, right? So we are, if I'm using this command, so this looks like an increasing, right? See here, a b c and d is coming, right? So this is increasing trend, right? So a b c then z. Okay, so this is decreasing. So here you are having highest then lowest, here you are having lowest to highest, here you are having lowest highest to lowest, right? So if you are having decreasing is equal to false, it means that you want increasing. So this series is looks like an increasing. But if you are having decreasing is equal to true, it means that you wanted a descending order series. So descending order means the highest value will first, then lower value. Okay.
Yes. So what I'm saying is, instead of typing decreasing is equal to false, what prevents us from typing increasing is equal to true?
No, no, no. This is not big, because this is a inbuilt function. Okay, this is being inbuilt by the
Okay.
R programming team, core team. So they have just put the parameter name as decreasing only, right?
Okay.
So
So
you need
there's
to
no
apply.
increasing in
Yeah,
R.
yeah. There is only this parameter they have. So we need to change it
Okay.
true and false. Based on that, it will make the changes. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
So now this is telling you, this is just changing the values. Okay, this is basically changing the values for a single variable. Okay, but let's suppose you wanted to sort the whole data. Okay, sometimes you may sort the whole data. Okay, you wanted to arrange the a values first, then b values, then c values. Okay, or maybe the higher values first, then the lower values, right? So you need to apply a order command over here. Okay, so order command, how it will be applied, maybe I will create a new variable, new data object, and I will apply the command like order, and in the order I need to pass the data. Okay, and uh, how I will apply, let me tell you. So okay, perfect. So you are having, let's suppose, data 1, and in this you need to pass like for example order. Okay, and in the order we need to you need to pass like the values like that one dollar, maybe marks wise. Okay, and for all columns, right? So in this way you can see that 2 is being created, and whoever is getting the highest marks is coming lower, and who is getting lower marks is coming in this way. Okay, so now I wanted to see the highest marks per person first. So how I will write it, I will write a command like decreasing. Okay, decreasing equal to true, right? So you can see here that 2, and in the that 2 you can see the highest mark person is coming first, then second highest, then third highest, and the lower one, right? So in that way you can see all the data is being sorted, right? So all the data is being sorted. So whoever is getting highest mark, their row is coming first, and who is getting the second highest mark, they are getting into the row number 2. Okay, so how I basically did it over here, so I just apply a kind of the sorting of rows, right? So here I'll just write the command like order, and where I write the command into the row part. Okay, so you know that row part means, so like for example in the dat one, so if you apply a square bracket, then you are having two part, one is the row part and one is the column part. In that way you are passing basically. So you will write the order function over here into this r part. Okay, so into the order function you will write the command in this way. Okay, so based on which variable you wanted to sort your data. Okay, so like for example I wanted to sort my data using my marks variable, so I will write the command for the marks. So here you are saying you are writing order, and inside the bracket you are having the values that one dollar marks, and decreasing is equal to true, you are applying over here, right? And you will left comma, and after that you are not having anything. Okay, it means that in the column part no need to specify anything, so it will sort the data using marks variable. Okay, it is clear to everyone? Any question, any doubt up to this point? Anything is not clear? Perfect. Yeah, Tariq, go ahead.
Hello?
Yeah, Tariq, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, yeah, my question, sorry, it is regarding the update,
Mm-hmm.
If the file imported from another source like Excel
Mm-hmm.
or SPSS or something like this,
Mm-hmm.
is it possible to update it just like this one, or I have to update it in the main source?
Yeah, so this is the way you can do it. Okay, but there is just some other ways also, like as you are telling that maybe you wanted to deal this situation with the imported data. Okay, for sure, yeah, you can do it in some other ways, but this is the this way is also working for that type of data. So like for example when you import any of the data, so this data will be come into the format of data frame. Okay, so this data frame will be automatically come up into the environment, and using this particular command, okay, using this particular function, you can update, you can sort this particular data, okay, in this way. Okay.
Another question, sorry.
Yeah, please, no problem.
There was a discussion about decreasing true and decreasing false,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think false is for true is for numerical data, and false for uh,
No, this is not
category
the
data or
concept.
something
No,
like
this is
this.
not the concept.
Because my colleague asked about to put increase and see the changes. You said the program it is just set it like that.
No, decreasing is equal to false means you want your data into the ascending format. Okay, ascending format. So ascending format means, so like for example if you are having alphabets, so alphabet will be ascending order means, so like for example a b c d e f. Okay, this is the ascending order of the alphabets, right? And for the numerics ascending order is like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, right? So this is the ascending order, right? So if you are specifying like decreasing is equal to true. Okay, so it means that you want this data into the descending format. Okay, descending format. So descending format means alphabets will be in the form of like z y x. Okay, z y x in that way, and the numeric values will be like for example 10 9 8 7 6 5 4 3 2 1. Okay, in that way this will come up, right? So this is basically a ascending order series, and this is basically a descending order series, right? So here the maximum value is coming first, then this is the maximum value, right? And here you are having ascending values, so here a is the lower values and 1 is the lower values, right? So in this particular data, okay, if I'm telling you, like for example, I just applied decreasing is equal to false, it means that since this grade is having the values of a b c d e f g h in that way, right? So decreasing is equal to false means you wanted these things into the ascending order. So ascending order is telling you the way is in this way, right? It will come the a first and then b, then c, then d. Okay, so output should be in this way. And you can see over here all the a is coming into the first, then b is coming, then c is coming, right? Similarly, if I will apply the decreasing is equal to false over here into the numeric part, okay, so decreasing equal to false means firstly decreasing equal to false means ascending order. So firstly the lower value will come, then the higher value will come. Okay, let's see this output. See here, the lower value is coming first, then higher value is coming. Okay, it means that this is following this norm. It means that this is nothing but an ascending order of arrangement of these numbers, right? Similarly, if I'll apply here decreasing is equal to true, okay, decreasing is equal to true for this as well, right? So it means that you want now in increasing format. Okay, sorry, decreasing equal to true means you wanted a decreasing format, descending format, right? So descending format means into the alphabet level, this is z y x, and in the numeric values this will be 10 9 and in this way, right? So let me apply over here. See here, firstly cb in that way it is coming, and the maximum value is coming in this way. Okay, so this is the way how you should to sort your data. Okay, and the same thing will be applied over here into this particular data, and the order command is being applied, right? So sort is basically used for sorting the simple vector, okay, but order is being used for ordering the data frame. Okay, so this is the way how you can sort your data values. Okay, perfect. So for today's class I
Okay.
do have up to this point. Maybe if anyone have any question, maybe we can discuss, otherwise we will close today's session. Yeah, Inusa, go ahead.
Okay, so I think also in the real world, most of the times where you don't have data integration, it means that at any point in time you have to manually update your data.
Mm-hmm.
So for instance, you have a data of four variables
Mm-hmm.
and then two rows. And then next time that same data, but an additional two rows is added or are added.
Mm-hmm.
How do you update that kind of data or data frame?
Yeah, so as I told, maybe you can apply directly edit command over here, and you can make any kind of changes over there, right? So this is the very good function, very good functionality like edit function. Okay, so using this particular edit function, you can make any kind of changes over here, right? Maybe you can increase the rows, you can increase the columns, you can change any of the values. Okay, so this is a very flexible way how you can deal this situation. But for sure, you can do those things using the programming way as well. So like for example, suppose if you wanted to change a particular value, let's suppose this particular two three values, okay, these two values you wanted to change, okay, these two values you wanted to change. So firstly you will call the place value of those two things, okay, like for example 234, this is value existing over here in the row number 1 and row number 2, and which is existing into the column, which column, 1 2 3 and fourth column. It means that in the row number 1 and 2 and column number 4 should be updated with the two values. Okay, let me apply those two things, that one, and this is basically row number 1 comma 2, right, and column number 4, and at this place what I wanted to add, let's suppose 234, maybe 500 and 600. Okay, I just ran this, and maybe I can show you quickly. See here, automatically these two values is being updated, and this is coming like 500 and 600. Okay, so anyways, any kind of data handling you can do using this particular data structure. Okay,
Okay.
yeah. Okay then. Thank you everyone. Yeah, so this is all about today's session. So thank you everyone for joining, and thank you so much for a great collaboration. I really like the way you guys are covering the sessions. Okay, so because it's really a very practical things. Okay, so when you ask your question, you will deal with real world situation, then only you will start learning this particular programming part. Okay, so perfect. Yeah, I like the way, and thank you so much for everyone to have your questions. And always be post your question into the WhatsApp channel. Everyone will be definitely answer your question. Okay, so okay, then thank you everyone. We'll meet on maybe day after tomorrow's class. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you.
You. Bye.